Welcome to Yankee Chronicle. I'm your host, Abby Peel, and for the next 2 weeks, we'll be presented by LaValley-Middleton Building Supply. Allow them to put their 6 decades of professional knowledge combined with today's cutting-edge products and fulfillment methods to work for you. We're here to talk about kitchen design with Jason Nesbitt. Nancy Tripp from Summer Music Associates will give us a rundown of this year's programs. Laurie Buchar will give us a tour of the Bradford Center Historical building. And we'll close with Mariam Carter, who will tell us about the League of New Hampshire Craftsmen. Don't go away because you won't want to miss this week's edition of the Yankee Chronicle. We'll be right back.
This program is supported by H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating. Their full-service model offers oil delivery, propane, motor fuels with design, installation, service, and maintenance of all types of oil, gas, and alternative energy systems, as well as air conditioning, water conditioning systems, and backup generators. Their highly trained and friendly staff will assist you throughout the process of buying, installing, and servicing a full line of energy products. H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating. Echo Communications, a digitally integrated commercial printer and mailer located in New London, New Hampshire since 1997, with roots going back much further as the country press, AccuMail, and the home of the Kearsarge shopper. Echo Communications. Main Street Bookends of Warner, for books, toys, games, cards, gifts, and a gallery of local art. Main Street Bookends of Warner. The Innertown Record, your weekly hometown community newspaper covering the Kearsarge Sunapee Sunshine region of New Hampshire. The Innertown Record.
We are strong and we'll get through this together, but these are stressful times. Reach out to someone, connect with your friends, and know that you are not alone. Visit wearebroadcasters.com/hope, furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
This program is supported by H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating. Their full-service model offers oil delivery, propane, motor fuels with design, installation, service, and maintenance of all types of oil, gas, and alternative energy systems, as well as air conditioning, water conditioning systems, and backup generators. Their highly trained and friendly staff will assist you throughout the process of buying, installing, and servicing a full line of energy products. H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating.
Welcome back to Yankee Chronicle. I'm your host, Abby Peel, coming to you from LaValley-Middleton Building Supply here in Meredith. And I'm now joined by a longtime employee, 22 years, Jason Nesbitt. He's one of the kitchen designers here. Hi, Jason.
Hi.
I am excited to talk to you because first I just thought we were going to talk about kitchens, but then I learned right before that you've been here for 22 years and started in many different departments. Talk about your history here at LaValley's.
Well, when I started, I worked out the yard first doing building loads for contractors like different lumber, things like that. And then from there, I think I went to the warehouse after that, did some receiving for a while. I drove a truck for a while, worked the guard shack, worked the front counter, basically everything but management.
So then did they say, well, would you like to try designing a kitchen? That's how you ended up here?
Yep.
Amazing. So we're in one of the kitchens now in the showroom. Anything special about this kitchen design that we're in?
Well, I mean, the nice thing with cabinets is there's always new things coming up, new innovations that they're working on, different inserts you can get inside the cabinets. This particular one is by Craftsman, and we offer also medallion cabinetry and a few others as well. But yeah, there's a lot of different features you can get into the different
I know,
cabinets.
and I think that must be kind of overwhelming. So you work with both homeowners and contractors, and someone could walk through that door and say, I'm thinking about a new kitchen remodel or a new build, and you can show them all the different aspects.
Absolutely.
And down to like picking out fixtures, things like that.
Absolutely. Incredible.
And that's really why LaValley's is a one-stop shop. We've talked about that with Bob before, that you can really get everything you need here. Talk about working with contractors in particular. Someone's out there potentially having a new build. What is that relationship like with you?
Well, we do have a lot of contractors we've dealt with for many years, and really there's so many facets and so many areas of this project that we have to micromanage, that it's really helpful for them to hand it off to us and say, here, this is my customer, this is what they want, this is their project, go for it. So we really do have a great relationship with them because we're able to build that trust with them.
Sure.
Working over so many different projects and helping them to keep things running smoothly, especially now with lead times being the way they are.
Right.
It's paramount to keep things on track as best as possible.
And get going, yes. Yeah. And so you start by designing it. The person can come in, take a look. But the other really great thing is you could come and show them exactly what that style or color would look like.
Exactly, yep.
Because you have multiple different things going on in here.
Yeah, between the lines we deal with, there's so many different options to choose from for door styles, colors, so many different combinations we can put together. And not to mention, not just for the kitchen, but also for bathrooms, for entryways, for offices, so many different things.
Yeah, so I was going to mention that in the showroom there's a mudroom display, something I wouldn't even necessarily think of that you could call LaValley's for, but it's something you could put together.
Yep.
And there's so many different parts of that too. Do you want drawers? Do you want hooks? Do you want a bench? Things like that.
Yep.
So tell me about countertops, because I think it's always a big struggle when people must come in and they're like, I have no idea what shade, what texture, what type, so because there's so many.
Oh, there are, yeah. The most popular ones right now, quartz is definitely one of the bigger sellers we have, but we also have options in granite, solid surface tops like Corian, laminate countertops. Those last two, actually, we do actually produce some of those over in our Newport facility.
And a lot of colors too, like this is black with a design, but then I see one over there that's a little bit lighter, but with a different design. So that must be another challenge too, but you can help people figure that out.
Absolutely. Trying to coordinate colors between cabinets, flooring, tile, paint. It's so many different things trying to bring all together, but doing it for 12 years, you get a good eye for it after time.
I'm sure you start to figure out, well, you have a gray floor against a brown something, and you can kind of help them steer in the right direction.
Yep.
Amazing. Talk about offices too. That's becoming more popular. People will say, oh, this is just a room that had a desk, but now they want more to it.
Right, yeah, definitely after the work at home phase. There's a lot of different things we can add into that, make things as functional and as user-friendly as possible.
For sure. One thing that people always talk about is color trends. Is there any big color trend in cabinetry right now?
Well, I mean, there's been a lot. Recently, the biggest ones have been moving towards like blues and greens.
Interesting.
White and gray is still timeless.
I know.
And shaker style is probably one of the bigger door styles we sell.
Yep. And are gold fixtures coming back in at all?
They are, yeah. I never thought I'd see it. Yeah, especially with the old bronze. Thankfully it's not that shade. It is a lot more pleasing. So.
But those are things that you can come and see right here, like exactly what a gold fixture would look like versus silver, all those different, and colored ones too. I think they make anything now, right?
Yeah, and the nice thing too is that if we don't have an exact door sample of what you want, we can get it from our vendors. And
then you can compare and contrast, see what you like.
And do custom colors too as well.
Well, Jason, I think people should come in. You're right here in the showroom, so it's not like you have to, go far to find you, and people can answer questions. How can people get in touch with you?
We can give us a call here or check out our website. Either way is a great way to find all our contact information for our location and all the others.
Yes, all the other is a good mention as well. Everybody has something at LaValley's 13 locations.
Yes.
So, Jason Nesbitt, thank you so much, and thanks for letting us stand in one of your designs.
No problem.
Thank you. When we return, Nancy Tripp will join us for a rundown of this summer music programs presented by the Summer Music Associates. Now, these words from other businesses that keep your Yankee Chronicle coming to you.
We are strong, we are resilient, and we will get through this together. But these are stressful times, and it's important to also practice good self-care. It's normal to feel overwhelmed, anxious, or afraid, but there is hope. Reach out to someone, connect with your friends, stay in touch with your community, and know that you are not alone. Learn more at wearebroadcasters.com/hope, furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Just gonna hang out. If any of your buddies ever pressure you to take a drink, just tell them you promised your dad you wouldn't.
I promise. Love you too, Dad.
They really do hear you. For tips on what to say, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
This program is supported by Echo Communications, a digitally integrated commercial printer and mailer located in New London, New Hampshire since 1997, with roots going back much further as the Country Press, AccuMail, and the home of the Kearsarge shopper. Echo Communications.
Well, first of all, Summer Music Associates is really thrilled to be back bringing great music to this Lake Sunapee area. We have not had a concert here for 2 years because of you know what, and we're over the moon that we're able to bring these artists back to New London. So we start at Colby Sawyer College at the Sawyer Theatre on June 25th, which is a Saturday night at 7 p.m. And the Boston Civic Symphony will return, 75-piece orchestra conducted by Francisco Noya. And this year they will be playing Dvorak's New World Symphony and Mozart's Piano Concerto in D minor. And that brings a young pianist as the soloist. His name is Yutong Sun, and he's in his late 20s, and he is, as we speak, competing in the Van Cliburn International Piano Competition. So we wish him well, and it would be phenomenal to have him even in the finals. He's only one of 30 young pianists from all over the world to have the honor to compete in this competition. So we are thrilled to have him as a soloist here in New London. And then the last piece on the concert will be Jonathan Bailey Holland's piece named Colors. And Jonathan Bailey Holland is a local composer from Boston. They're doing extraordinary work, and this will be the New Hampshire premiere of his piece. Then on July 7th, a Thursday night, here at the First Baptist Church, we will have Frisson Ensemble. They're a 9-piece ensemble from New York City, some of the finest young musicians from New York, and they're composed of woodwinds, a French horn, and string instruments. And they bring a concert called From Bach to Bolero. So they'll start with some early pieces and move right up through the repertoire to Ravel's Bolero arrangement that has been done specifically for their ensemble. So that should be a pretty exciting concert as well, and I'm sure that will fill this space with fantastic sound. 2 weeks later, Thursday night, right here again at the First Baptist Church. That would be Thursday, July 21st. We have a return visit from the Beacon Brass Quintet. These fellows are from Boston, tremendously entertaining. They teach the audience about their instruments and about the music they're playing. They're very funny and just delightful guys. They're going to feature a Quintet number 2 by Victor Ewald, then a piece by George Frederick Handel, John Williams, Giuseppe Verdi, Scott Joplin, and Duke Ellington. So it's quite an extraordinary range of music for that night. 2 weeks later, again on a Thursday, August 4th, we have the Pandolfi Deutsche Duo. Many of you were here when the Rastrelli Cello Quartet played, and they brought with them a guest violinist named Lindsay Deutsch, who came out in a sequin jumpsuit and tore the place apart. In fact, during the concert, the quartet had to remind the audience that we had come to hear them, and not just to hear Lindsay Deutsch. She is one of the most dynamic, versatile, exciting, fabulous players I have ever heard or witnessed in my life. She brings us to a standing ovation right away. And she is paired with Thomas Pandolfi, a wonderful pianist. And the two of them are presenting a show called Rock Stars Through the Ages. And it's a whirlwind tour of some of the most famous classical composers right up through popular composers such as Billy Joel. And they too talk to the audience and bring us on this journey with a lot of humor and insight. Then 2 weeks after that, August 18th, we round out the season with Fred Moyer Jazz Trio. Fred is a local New Hampshire musician, but he's a classical pianist who is known around the world with many, many recordings. The first half of the concert, Fred will be playing classical piano pieces, but the second half of the concert, he brings onto the stage his bass and drum player, and they comprise a jazz trio. And Fred has transcribed note for note famous jazz trios by Oscar Peterson, Art Tatum, Chick Corea, just for instance, and those trios will be performed in the second half of this concert. So it will be as if you're taken back into time to hear the actual jazz trios that were played back in the days of fabulous classic jazz. So that's our season. Our ticket prices have not changed. They are still $25 for adults, $5 for students. They are available at www.summermusicassociates.org or 603-526-8234, or by cash or check at Tatewell Gallery or Morgan Hill Bookstore here in New London. We hope to see you at the concerts. Stay safe, and we'll see you soon.
It is so good to have all these events re-emerge after our COVID shutdown. When we return, Laurie Buchar will give us a tour of the Bradford Center Historical buildings. But first, here is another business that helps us keep your Yankee Chronicle coming to you.
The American Red Cross blood supply is at historically low levels this winter, and we're facing a dangerous situation. Hospitals and patients are counting on donors to get the blood they need. Make a life-saving appointment today. Visit redcrossblood.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS.
This program is supported by Main Street Bookends of Warner. For books, toys, games, cards, gifts, and a gallery of local art. Main Street Bookends of Warner.
Welcome back to your Yankee Chronicle. I'm Abby Peel, your host. Last year, we visited the Historic Center of Bradford for a tour of their buildings. Hi, Laurie.
Well, it all started here about 250 years ago. This is Bradford Center, which is the geographical heart of Bradford. And when you think of Bradford, you might think of Pizza Chef and the church and the library downtown, and that's all where we center our commerce now. But in the old days, the forefathers of each town would put the center right in the center of town, so it was equal distance for everybody who had to walk to the gathering place. There's been a lot of change over the years, but because this area got left as a backwater when the railroad came in, and this Bradford Center was a vibrant place that long ago. There was a blacksmith shop, there was the Punch Bowl Tavern, there was a tannery, there was a store where you'd pick up your mail and your millinery and your shoes and your grain, whatever. So Bradford had 12 schools. That may seem like a lot for the population of the town, but there was a rule that most towns followed, that each student had to live within a mile of the school building. This is the only one that has been kept the way it was and restored to its more school-like look. This school served students from ages 4 to age 20, and it ran the longest. It was the first school, 1793, and it went to 1937. There are still people alive who attended this school. I remember stories of students from long ago who would chuck apples up at the bell tower while the teacher's back was turned. Now let me show you where the other animals were kept. So this is the town pound. It possibly predates all the buildings in the area because every town had to have a place to put errant animals. So if your livestock wandered into someone else's cornfield, people aren't going to be happy, right? So there was a pound where the animals had to be rounded up and kept here. Job of the pound keeper was very unpopular because people had to pay him and he had to round up the animals and feed them. So anybody who was a political hopeful in town had to do the pound keeper job first. This is really the second meeting house in this location. Right over there, there was a town meeting building for gatherings of all kinds, not just religious purposes. And that building was eventually moved down to Bradford, as we know the center now, and is part of our town hall that is right there across from the library. This replaced it in 1838. Inside this building, it's quite remarkable to us because it's a beautiful historic landmark. But in its day, it was considered a fairly humble accomplishment. All towns wanted to have their meeting place for, as I said, religious as well as educational purposes. And they all shared it. There were many denominations in the center, and they would take their turns using the meeting house. It has stencils in it that you'll see that are beautiful, but were stock stencils of the time. It was a typical building for a small New Hampshire town at the time. So this is called the Center Burying Ground. They didn't use the word cemetery at that time. The graves in this area are from the 1800s, 1801 to 1881. That includes Revolutionary War veterans. So this is the only town green in Bradford, the only official town green, and it is owned by the town. But the buildings are kept up by a group called the Friends of Bradford Center. And we've had a tough year this year with COVID, last year too, of course. The kinds of events that we do have when we are open to the public are our wonderful annual Christmas pageant, many concerts during the summer, including classical music, folk music, rock and roll, and big band. We've had art shows. You can rent the space for weddings or memorials. We put on plays. We've had all kinds of fun things go on here. And we hope to continue all of that in 2022. If you want to come check us out, please come by and visit and hang out at on our picnic tables, and check us out on Facebook, Bradford Center Meeting House.
Thanks, Laurie. It's wonderful that these dedicated individuals and organizations put in the effort to preserve these structures for our future generations and for you now. When your Yankee Chronicle returns, YCN journeys down to Concord headquarters of the New Hampshire League of Craftsmen to learn about their efforts and mission. But first, these words from a good business that makes your Yankee Chronicle possible.
Prescription drug pricing points to corporate
Freedom of the press is about your right to know.
and Clark sheer athleticism.
It's about your right to be informed. Today, there are real threats to press freedom
Reaching residential areas.
and your right to know about the world around us. We must protect our right to know, no matter what kind of news is important to you. Before it's too late, understand the threats. ProtectPressFreedom.org.
This program is supported by the Innertown Record, your weekly hometown community newspaper covering the Kearsarge-Sunapee Sunshine region of New Hampshire. The Innertown Record.
Welcome back. I'm Abby Peel, your host. Let's head down to Concord to hear about the League of New Hampshire Craftsmen.
Thanks, Abby. I'm delighted to be here today with Peter Dish, the General Manager of Vail Resorts at Mount Sunapee. Peter, how you doing?
Doing great. How are you today, Mariam?
I'm really well, thanks. So we're about to do the big event that we share and collaborate on every year, the 89th Annual Craftsman's Fair.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. You know, here at Mount Sunapee, the team is so proud to be part of, family traditions taking flight, and I really can't think of anything else in New Hampshire that is more of a tradition than the Craftsman's Fair that's coming up here. And we're so proud and honored to be able to host such an iconic event within the state and really throughout New England. So really excited to welcome you and your team back.
Thanks.
It's always been wonderful to work with, and hopefully we make you feel like you're at home.
You sure do, and actually it's one of the things I'd love people to know in the area, like what a great collaboration this is. The League has an amazing team who produces this event, which is our major event of the year. It's our big fundraiser, and we welcome over 20,000 people to this event so that we can support our incredible craftsmen and the beautiful work they do. And it's such a delight to have a partnership with an organization and a team such as yours that understands the mission, wants to be helpful in every possible way, and made a lot of advancements in the past year. There's things that just make it look better, but there's a can-do spirit of both of our teams that make this come together really well. And it takes quite a long time, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, I feel like we just wrapped up last year's fair, and maybe we took a break for maybe a day, and we're already talking about 2022.
Right.
And I've been getting more and more excited as we've rolled in closer and closer to the event. And there's an excitement as the grass greens up here, the tents start coming in, people start showing up, your team's here. And it goes by so quickly.
It does.
But it's so much fun.
It is. Well, you get done with your major event called the ski season, and we start up our big summer event, and we're off and running. So let's talk a little bit about what's new this year. We always like to bring new ideas to the fair, so we're going to have amazing demonstrations. We're going to actually have a lot of children's events and family events that kids can do. Excited about that, and I think you have a few new things to offer up as well.
Yeah, so we're looking at trying out some new menu items.
Oh, great.
So, we work with some other food vendors here at the fair, but the mountain also hosts food down the Spruce Lodge and up in the Centipede Lodge. So we're looking at doing some different, fresh, different menu items to, maybe be a little more reflective of the New Hampshire community of what you can expect. You might see a lobster roll, might see some clams.
Ooh.
We'll see.
I love the fact that we get surprised by what you and your team are going to do every year, so that's great. We, of course, bring in food vendors as well, but we really work hard to give a nice balance because we want to be respectful of your offerings and appreciate that your team is always interested in bringing new ideas forward. So thanks for leading the charge on that. One of my things I'm most excited about is I've wanted a scavenger hunt here for kids for years, and we're finally doing it this year, so that's a big new event. And our artists tell us that they are working hard. Last year was a banner year for the makers. We sold over $2.75 million worth of crafts through the booth holders alone.
Incredible.
And our galleries have been doing well this year, so we feel really supported by the New Hampshire community. I think they're supporting local artists, local makers, and local businesses such as this.
Mm-hmm. Well, Craftsmen are such an important piece of that. I think seeing the passion and the excitement that good craft can bring to people, both the people making it, the energy and excitement they put into it, the experience that they put into crafting that, and then the people that come here to explore it. It's an incredible event. I mean, you can spend hours walking around and find that item that connects with you, and you're connecting with that person that made it. They put their hard work, they put their personality into it. And I think it's just a great depiction of what our community is passionate about is this fair and the craftsmen that are putting out these incredible pieces of art.
I agree with you. We have such a following in this region who appreciate us. Many of our donors are here. It's just been a legacy. And of course, we've been at Mount Sunapee with different partners, originally the state and then Triple Peaks and now Vail, owners of the lease. And we're grateful for the partnership and also the appreciation that we bring a lot to the creative economy of the state by coming here. We help the local businesses. We're supported by the local businesses. It's all good. But the relationship that we've had with the lease owners of this mountain, and you specifically now through Vail, is really welcomed and so appreciated by all of the league members, our board, etc. So thanks again for hosting us. We look forward to seeing all of you at the 89th Annual Craftsman's Fair. For more information, go to nhcrafts.org, and the dates of the event are August 6th through 14th. Once again, nhcrafts.org, August 6th through 14th.
Thank you for all your efforts to advance, cultivate, and champion excellence in fine crafts in New Hampshire. Next week will be our last week at LaValley's. We'll hear from contractors that have found the service and products provided by LaValley-Middleton Building Supply the best it can be. Amy Drummond and Tanya Frost will give us a preview of this year's Duck Drop to raise funds for the Boys and Girls Club of Central New Hampshire. And we'll close with a visit from Pam Brake for an update on this summer's activities in Newberry. Don't miss our Game of the Week second season with great replays from the past. This week we'll show the early season matchup of Kearsarge and Mascoma in basketball action. All our games play at 12 noon and 7 p.m. on Sundays and Mondays on TDS 13, 1013, and on NCTV 8. All our YCN shows are available on demand anytime at ycnnow.com. Join me again next week at the same time as we visit the new and greatly improved new London Barn Playhouse, but still producing great shows throughout the summer. I'm Abby Peel. Stay safe, everyone.